about breakfast? How come you're not in the breakfast wars, Emil?
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why, because it is a war. And, you know, we've tested breakfast several times over the years. And, you know, we feel that as virtually the only large national chain that hasn't gotten into breakfast, it's very difficult to enter that space, you know, today and commit the kind of marketing resources that we feel would be necessary to really entrench ourselves successfully, you know, in that breakfast day part. And also, by the way, do it in a way that we can not just break even, but make a good amount of money. Because if we're going to ask our teams in our restaurants to work hard, you know, and spend extra time in the restaurants, we want to make sure that we can do that on a highly profitable basis. And we felt, based upon our last earning, that we weren't quite there in our last learning.
So you wouldn't rule it out then?
Oh no, but I think that, you know, if we entered it again sometime in the future, we would do it in a way that would really separated us apart and differentiated us, you know, from the competitor. But if you look at the growth in the breakfast day part continues to be one of the strongest growing day parts in quick serve restaurants.
Are the margins really hard to find in breakfast because there is a war going on, that there's there's kind of a race to the bottom in many ways, you know, in pricing in breakfast?
Yeah, I don't really think that's the case. You know, I think that
you don't think that's the case?
No, I think there is money to be made, but you have to be able to do the volume. Also, if you look at the morning day part, it is absolutely the most habitual, and we also find the highest levels of loyalty at the morning customer. You know, you get up in the morning, you're in a routine, virtually like all Americans are, or all people around the world, and you follow that routine. And once you get embedded in that routine, it gets a lot harder to change, you know, people from that. And we didn't want to also have an effort against that to detract from our lunch business, our snack business, and our dinner business. So we're not saying never, but we're just saying not right now.
Do you believe that at some point that lowest tier of the fast food restaurant space, or the QSR as you call it, that eventually, that business model is eventually going to go away?
No. No.
Okay.
And, you know, Betty, when you look at what's happening to the economic profile of the United States of America, and you look at the number of people whose households income, you know, have stagnated for the past 10-year period of time, and often you can find people in those categories that, you know, everybody in the household's working, okay? In some cases, they're working multiple jobs. And quick-serve restaurants become extremely important to them as their source of food for themselves, as well as feeding their families. But because they use them with a high degree of frequency, price is very important to them. Okay, it's not less important, because so the demand in these restaurants is very high. But I think what people are clearly telling you, okay, is they want to continue to evolve the quality.
Are you for a higher minimum wage, Emil?
You know what? I'm for giving people an opportunity to be very, very successful in their lives, Betty. And you know, we don't look at it as a minimum wage. We look at it as a starting wage, because what we want people to do is to advance from that stage, and we give them tremendous opportunity.
Well, they want that too, but do you want a higher would you be okay with a higher starting wage?
We believe in the free market enterprise system, Betty, and we believe that supply and demand ought to, you know, determine price points, both for our products as well as for wages out there. But again, I emphasize the tremendous opportunity that we give people. If you come with a high school diploma, and the success that you can have and earn in a very short period of time above average household incomes, I think that's very special. You know, and actually I think the restaurant industry deserves, not just Wendy's, but the restaurant industry deserves a huge pat on the back for this.
You mentioned I believe in the call a few weeks ago, speaking about Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act and the cost that it'll generate. So can you quantify how that's going to affect your bottom line next year?
You know, we just finished the subscription period for our health care, and so we don't have that you know, that number. But you know, we'll have that in the next month or so and have a better understanding of you know, what that is.
Is it going to be significant?
Oh, I definitely think it's you know, a significant number for us, and I mean, all cost increases are significant. I think the other significant thing, Betty, about this is that, you know, what we're going to find is that the number of people that, you know, were able to take advantage of this were not as high as you know, you may think. It's not going to be 90% of the people, simply because this program did not really provide the access to health care that maybe people thought it did.
So is it, for your business, is it going to prevent you, or maybe not prevent, but is it going to hold you back from being able to reinvest your cash?
No, absolutely
hold you back
not.
from hiring?
No, we've known for several years that this was coming, and we've built this into our our planning process, and you have to do this, and so we definitely do them. But we're still going to be very aggressive about image activation and upgrading our
growing your
restaurants
business.
and growing our business. Absolutely focused on it.